Hello friends and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to create your very own stage fright ghost. I thought it was so cute. It represents me in every way. I'm just like, oh, so cute. And I just needed to make a tapestry out of it, and we're going to be using a Tunisian simple stitch. I do apologize once again. The base of this project, or like the very first few rows are black, and I know they're hard to see, but just follow my voice and my instructions and you'll be good to go. For starters, we're just going to chain 32 black chains. Needless to say, I just always show the pattern at the beginning. You can always swap the colors around. That's what I'm going to do. The actual curtain, the backside of the ghost is not going to be red like shown on the pattern. I'm just going to switch it to a yellow color because those are the two colors that I actually have. You can always swap your colors around. Well, let's get started. For Tunisian simple stitch, we're going to start with our 32 chains, and once you've chained your 32 chains, we're going to work onto the back side of your chains. So if you turn your chains onto the back side and if you run your fingers through them, you feel little bumps. We're going to work onto those bumps, and you'll see that this very first stitch, I know it's hard to see on camera, but this very first stitch has a bump. We're going to skip it because we already have a loop on our hook, and that one counts as one. So we're going to skip the very first bump. We're going to go straight to the second bump. We're just going to insert our hook onto that bump. As you can see, we're going to yarn over and pull. And we're going to do this all the way down our row. Needless to say that if you're having trouble inserting your hook onto those bumps, that probably means that you made your chains a little bit too tight. So you can always undo them and redo them a little bit looser. And of course, I also have to mention that this is a pretty medium-sized project. It's not that small. So I'm using a longer Tunisian crochet hook. You can always get away with using your regular crochet hook if you attach something onto the end of your crochet hook, because you'll see we're gonna need to have all of our loops on our hook at once. So you can always attach like a loose piece of string or like a pencil, anything that you like. So now that you have all of your loops on your hook, we're going to do a return pass. And that's something unique about Tunisian simple stitch. You go forwards and we go backwards within just one row. It's just like knitting. So we're just going to grab our yarn over, and we're going to pull through that very last stitch on our hook, that one stitch. We're going to pull through that one. I do apologize again, it's hard to see. But we're just going to yarn over and pull through one stitch on our hook, the last one. And that's going to count as our chain one. We're going to yarn over and pull through two of our loops. Again, like as you see, we have two loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through two. Once again, we're going to yarn over, pull through two, pull through two, pull through two, all the way down our row. And your row should look just like this. And I'll show you the repeat for the rest of this project. So this is our foundation. We're going to do now the repeat. If you grab your row and you pull it, you'll see like those little stacks of yarn, like these, this one, and then this one. We're going to insert our hook onto those. So this stitch always counts as one. We're going to insert our hook onto that front loop only. That front loop only. We're going to yarn over and pull. Again, just pull them and you see little stacks of yarn, and we're just going to insert our hook onto those front loops. Only onto those front loops. And this is our second row is going to be a solid color, so we don't have to worry about introducing any colors yet. So we do this all the way down our row, and we should end up with 32 loops on our hook. Now for our return pass, always chaining one onto that very last loop, yarn over, pull through that very last loop, chaining one. We're gonna yarn over and pull through 2 of our stitches, 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and we just continue to pull through 2 all the way down our row. For our third row, always pulling our row, and we're just going to insert our hook. This is a repeat, like I said before. Yarn over and pull. Insert our hook, yarn over and pull. Always counting this stitch as 1. We're going to do 21 black stitches. So we already have 3, 4. We're just going to continue until we have 21 loops of black loop on our hook. And now we have all of our 21 loops, or our 21 black stitches, and we're going to grab our new color. In my case, I am going to use a gray color, and we're just going to insert our hook onto that front loop only, like we did before. And instead of yarning over with our black, we're just going to yarn over with our new color, just like that. This is how we introduce a new color, and we should have 5 stitches of this new color. I like to move my tail back and forth so that it catches with my working yarn. And once you have your 5 stitches, we're just going to drop our working yarn for this color. We're going to pick up our black, and we're just going to insert our hook onto the very next stitch that follows, making sure that this back piece of yarn is nice and loose so it doesn't create tension. And we just continue to yarn over and pull, yarn over and pull. And just to be clear, we should end up with 6 black stitches after our gray stitch. And once again, for our return pass, we're just going to chain 1 onto the very last stitch. We're gonna yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 until you get to this point right here. So whenever you have 2 different color stitches on your hook, in my case I have my first stitch, which is black, and my second stitch, which is gray, you always use that second color stitch to pull through. So whenever you don't know how or which yarn to pull through your 2 stitches, you always use a second color stitch if both your first and your second stitch are different colors. So in our case, we're just going to drop our black working yarn. We're going to pick up our gray. We're going to yarn over and pull through that very last black stitch and our very first gray stitch. And then once again, we're just going to pull through 2 because they're the same color. It doesn't matter. You pull through 2 until you have 2 different color stitches on your hook. Your first one and your second one. Always remembering the rule that you always pull through the second color stitch. So we're just going to drop our gray. We're going to pick up our black. Remember to have that back stitch nice and loose. So we want to leave a nice piece of back yarn so it doesn't warp. And we're just going to pull through that very last gray stitch and the very first black stitch. Like so. And we just yarn over, we continue to pull through 2, all the way down this row. And your rows should look just like this. This is actually where I leave the explanation because everything that you need to know is within these 3 rows. You have your foundation, your repeat, your color introduction, your color switch. Everything that you need to know is within these pieces of yarn that I've just shown you. And of course, down below in the description, I leave the Pinterest pin that I'm following, or you can always take a screenshot of the picture on screen.